We're here with Hare from U5. Guys getting ready for the tournament. How do you guys feel about this event, and how you guys been practicing?
Well, actually, we feel great coming into this. It's probably like one of the more confident events that we're going into. And actually, we had a little debate about this earlier. I don't really even know if that's kind of like the good thing. For example, I've always gone into events feeling confident, whereas some of the TSG guys go into events like not really knowing what's going to happen, and they always sometimes end up on top.
Well, you're speaking of TSG guys. How has that merger been for you guys? Looking back now, you're post one event. You had the WCG USA finals. How is it looking for you guys?
I think we have progressed a lot since the time we merged to WCG. We made like pretty tremendous progress, and then from WCG to now, I think we even moved further.
You know, looking at those guys that came on, you had obviously CBZ, Josh, and Sunman. Who do you think has been the most impressive to you playing with them? You know, you've played against them for a long time, but now you got a chance to actually be with them and play with them. What do you think about that?
Well, an obvious answer is really Sunman, just because his playing style of movement and all that is just like something that I've never got to experience playing with. Always playing against him and just having him strafe out and doing all this crazy stuff and bunny hopping all over the place. But now it's great to have someone like that on the team, and actually he's taught me a couple like little things and which have really helped my fragging game. So it's pretty cool. So
those kind of players obviously help improve the rest of the team as well coming in.
Right.
You know, you brought over DeBears as well. What do you think of the team as a whole now? I mean, how do you guys think you've gelled? I know you guys really worked on, you know, in the Cal-I season, working on teamwork instead of strategies. Can you explain that a little bit? And, you know, how has that all worked out for you guys?
Well, basically, we live in, me, Charlie, and Sunman all live in an apartment together, and what we do is we spend nights just like, that's when we go over our strats and make them up so that during the day we can practice them with the whole team. But for our Cal matches and things where there's Half-Life TV and demos recorded, we've really tried to stay away from like doing those types of strats that we're saving for CPL, and kind of just like running defaults, and like sometimes we'll have Charlie call strats just so he gets used to it. We'll have Sunman called all of our nuke strats, and like really we're just working as a team and what to do in situations and just communicating and playing off of each other. And then we just figured if whether or not we won Cal-I or not, we'd be a better team for it. And then with that teamwork that we developed plus the strats that we've been kind of saving, we think that's kind of like a little bit of our secret weapon coming into the CPL event.
You know, looking at the whole tournament as a whole, I know you guys probably not have a chance to play anybody really too difficult on strike, but have you looked at it? What do you think of the map? What do you think of being able to having to play it here at the CPL?
Honestly, I love the map. From the time we downloaded it, and we actually, United 5, our team now got a little like preview of Strike where CPL actually asked for us and Team Tech to come into a server, and they had Tanya and probably Alan and all the CPL admins, and they just kind of watched how we played the map. And then after that, we went on to just like coming up with some basic ideas and some cool flashbangs for it, and setups and stacks and all that type of stuff. We had our Cal-I match on it, like for the playoffs versus Zax, and we won that. And we haven't really looked at it much since then, but we have a really good feel of how to play for it or play it.
You know, looking at the whole situation with not just CPL next summer, but also ES World Cup, how do you feel about that whole deal? And if there is a situation where you get decided of, you know, maybe Source versus 1.6, that we've heard a little bit of a thought of that happening, what is your guys' thoughts on that? You know, including what your thought on Source.
Charlie and I talked about this today, and I think what we're going to end up doing is registering for CPL as Source, but also going to the ESWC qualifier. Now, if we qualify, and we do good at this event, really, this event says a lot about what we're going to do this summer. Then we're probably going to do ESWC, but if the qualifier doesn't go as well as planned, or this first season in Cal Source, if we feel like we're really catching on to the game pretty quickly, then we'll probably end up coming to this CPL event and playing Source.
So just kind of playing by ear a little bit.
Right.
The looking at the whole CPL World Tour and your guys' sponsorship, how do you feel? And you go ahead and plug who that is. How do you feel about tournaments abroad? I know you guys have said a little bit about OppiHack. CPL World Tour has a potential to have quite a few of those tournaments having CS. What can we look for you 5 in that?
No promises, really. Our sponsors, NVIDIA and Asus, have been great. They've gotten us to, so far, every event we've wanted to go to. So that's been excellent. And like for the CPL World Tour, we've expressed to them that that's something that we really want to do. And probably a lot, depending on performance, will they send us. And probably a lot lies on this event right here.
Looking at those tournaments, how do you feel about that? We've had a lot of, I don't know about the word controversy, but maybe, some of the Europeans saying, well, Americans can't go overseas and win and play very well. They haven't proved it as well. How do you feel about that? You think that you think that you 5 can go overseas and play well?
Well, definitely. I think, TSG went overseas and played well, like beating a bunch of top teams at ESWC. I don't really I'm just brushing that comment off, basically. I don't doubt. I know Bears and I have never been overseas to play Counter-Strike, but I don't see that being a problem.
Being a big issue.
Yeah.
I think the only other question I really have is, who do you think is a surprise in this tournament? I know obviously you'd love to say yourself, but any other teams, and include the Europeans in there. Do you see somebody you think nobody's looking at right now that could do well? That you're looking out for probably is another add-on to that.
Really, we've come into this event with the goal to be number 1, so we've really just haven't. There's no team that really scares us. No matter what our seed was, we're really prepared to play any team on any map and just give it our best. As far as your question goes, I really think in general the North American Counter-Strike team Counter-Strike teams, this is going to be our event. This is going to be Cal-I's event. I think we're going to see at least 3 North American teams in the top 5. I think.
Really? Okay.
I think.
What teams are you thinking about?
Oh man, well I'd love to say us, Rival, and then 3D, but honestly, even teams like Zex, Die, Tech, everyone has proved last CPL. Everyone has a really good shot. A lot comes down to which teams play who on which maps and stuff like that.
I think that's basically about all I had. I think that any other comments you wanted to make about the tournament? Anything you guys setting up for? I know you have a strats book. You want to say anything about that?
Well, if I had it here, I'd show you the index page. But
how many pages is it?
Well, I got the index with strike and blah, 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 and then a lot of the strats, which is kind of cool, I started in U5 Valor. There's strats with me, Concussion, Yuppie, Moses, and them, and then there's strats with me and Fraud and Trip and all of them.
How do you break it up? How do you allow your team to organize it? Because I assume it's quite a few pages. How do you call them out? How do you do things like that? How do you keep them all separated?
Well, usually what happens is, and I'm not the only one that writes these.
Of course, yeah.
Mostly now it's a lot Charlie, and we do copy a lot of strats from other teams. Some of our strats are called okay, let's do the Titan strat on Train or something like that. But what we do is we just write them down in an email. We say, okay, blah, 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 beginning and round, Hare does this, buys this, and then another bullet point, Charlie does this, and then that's phase 1, and then phase 2, okay, we call it time, flashbangs go out, we call it, and then phase 3, is kind of after the bomb is planted, where everyone tries to go, where everyone tries to aim, and how to cover the bomb, and just stuff like that, and we do dry runs of those things. And
you've been really well known for the dry runs. How do you feel about that whole the idea of practicing? How does that all work for you guys in setting up practices? Is it more organized than you've done in the past when you didn't do those type of things?
I honestly think maybe the old United 5 team was a little bit more discipline when it came to practice.
But you organized that. You came up with that idea with the old U5 team that you tried to bring in a little bit with you.
Right, and don't get me wrong, it's working great, and I think it's definitely going to be beneficial.
Well, you have a little bit more of a definitely a skilled team now that allows you to do a little bit less of that, but you still add that in.
Right, and it's kind of a unique group of people. I think like having the Bears and Sunman on the same team is kind of like gives us a little bit of a crazy edge.
Yeah.
And then like me and Charlie and Josh is like we're more like
consistent. Yeah.
I guess that would be like. Oh, I don't know. Actually, let's put Josh and Charlie together with the consistent. And in regards to frags, I'm probably usually like down there, but I try and make up for it with a little bit of the brains.
Yeah. I guess that's all. Do you have any shout-outs? Obviously, you said your sponsors before, but anything else that you wanted to say? Maybe a website, anything else you want to say about?
Nothing really. Just thank you, NVIDIA. Well, actually, these are our new shirts.
They are cool.
Waiting for
I like
these
them
for like 2 years, and they're awesome. And
yeah, they're very nice
the
shirts.
back of them.
Look at that. There you go.
But just thank you, ASUS, NVIDIA, and Exactech Land Center, which is the land center that we go and play our matches from in Schaumburg, Illinois.
Okay.
So.
Thank you very much. Good look forward. Yeah, and good luck in the tournament.
All right. Thank you.